didn't even turn on the toolbox. Like, I don't even know what works. What? Hey, but we're live. It's the special toxic shark edition of the snooze. We didn't do a snooze last month. And we were probably not going to do a snooze this month, probably just take the summer off. But, you know, then Shark Week happened. And I'm usually on vacation when Shark Week happens. So, hey, we get to do a movie. So this is the snooze. I'm Tony Solo. And with me is my buddy Dylan. Say hi, Dylan.
Hi, Dylan. So this is great, actually. We're both going on vacation next week.
Yeah, and
not together, not like that time with Scott that we're not going to talk about right now.
Okay, no. Listen, Dylan, there's no reason to hold back. We can let the people know. All right, it's not a coincidence that I'm going to be on vacation next week and Dylan's going to be on vacation next week. Come on, just like, you know, when Mike and Kelly disappear, nobody has to ask any questions.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. I want to mention, hey, happy birthday, Scott McDonald. His birthday was this week. Myrna's birthday just passed, so happy birthday to you guys.
And Jerry's is today. Jerry Fletcher.
And Jerry Fletcher, happy birthday, Jerry Fletcher. Since the last news we had, unfortunately, Amy Glitters passed away very suddenly and tragically, leaving behind her a fiance, and little ass kicker is a year old, and it just devastated the community, just because she was so young and vibrant. I know Dylan's probably spoken about her on his YouTube channels, but I just want to give you guys a little piece of information that maybe you didn't know. Way back when we were still doing Snark Radio, and when Melissa left the show, we actually considered Amy for the third person, because we wanted to get a female in there to kind of keep us in check. That's kind of what Melissa was doing, and Amy could not commit to doing every Thursday. But that's how good she was. I mean, she kind of burst onto Twitter. She was hysterical. She jumped right into, you know, Z Nation and all that other stuff. So, you know, I hate to say life happens and stuff, but it's one of those things that makes you have to realize each and every day, hold on to the people that are close to you, because you don't know how long you're going to have them. And you know, you don't want to live with regret afterwards. You know, you don't want to say, you know, I coulda, woulda, shoulda, you know, we should have done that. Do it now while everybody's alive and healthy. You know, make sure you don't, you know, push people away. Make sure you pull people in. So, having said that,
I mean, it hit us hard because, it hit us hard because she was the first one of us who actually died. I mean, we've had family members and stuff like that pass away, but there's been, not to my knowledge, any other Snark Alex who have passed on that point on. But yeah, I did an Amy Glitter show the week of her birthday, because we held a impromptu wake at our house. It was Dawn and me and Will Fish and Stardust and Con Sweet Con were all there. So we sort of had a nice little you know, get together, some tacos and pizza, and then I did an episode of my show, which was really hard to do, but I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad it helped a lot of people. So yeah, Amy did my show, Dylan knows, a number of times, and she was fantastic, and she would have been, if she could have committed, she would have been perfect on Snark Radio. So instead, you get stuck with Mike. So
I know it was a step down. This could fit. You know, I don't want to, you know, turn this into
right. I know.
Survivor. Did I spell that right?
I don't see anything yet.
Well, it'll be up there in a second. But you know, so hey, and turn it on. So let's see what happens.
There you go.
Hey, that works. Did I spell that right? Survivor.
Yes, you did. Yes.
So anyway, so we said happy birthday. We talked about Amy for a second. We'll probably bring her up again in the future. And so toxic sharks. We've had a good week this week so far. Toxic sharks was just a little bit different, I want to say. It didn't seem like there was many people tweeting as there was yesterday for Trailer Park Sharks. And please, people, no spoilers. Dylan has not seen it yet, so we don't want to spoil it for him. But I don't think we saw enough shark and enough of that goo spraying out of his head. But it was a decent movie. I mean, for a Thursday night, come on, it's Thursday night.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, as you said, we were kind of spoiled this week. I mean, Five-Headed Shark Attack was okay, but I absolutely love Mississippi River Sharks, and I also heard really good things about Trailer Park Sharks. I mean, even before we started the show, you told me how good it was. The one good thing, though, is we got to see Stardust come in, and I actually don't think she'd ever done a Snark movie with us before, so seeing her on there was kind of good to get that. And it's always good to see Mel in there. She's been on every night, I believe, so it's good to see Mel back in there. And of course, you know, Kelly and everybody. So it's good. And yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I didn't like it that much, only because it was what you said. There's not enough shark in it, and there was just like basically the first hour was, we're walking, we're talking. Okay, quick shark attack. We're walking and talking. Quick shark attack. We're walking and talking. It's like, okay, this is getting kind of boring, because in a movie about toxic sharks that spray goo on singles, you expect to see some bit more gooey, right?
Yeah, and there was a little bit of goo, and I loved the guru, the yoga guy. But the only time you saw any kind of goo was, I think, near the end when it was on the motor of the boat. But yeah, I'm going to agree with you. At the beginning, you know, Eden and Sam doing that whole arguing thing was kind of annoying. But I will tell you, I have one of the things that's a little bit different, and I want to get your take on this. The 8 o'clock start time, I know it doesn't work for a lot of people, but it, in a strange way, it's better for me, because between 10 and 11, I'm in bed reading my book, you know, because it's a school night. But my younger daughter has been watching a couple of the movies. She didn't watch tonight, but she did watch Five-Headed Shark Attack. And she was just hysterical, because just like everybody in that movie, it was like, wait, hold on, this shark only has 4 heads. And then when you realize that the other head was on the butt end, it made it funnier, you know? So I don't know. I mean, what they're going to do, if they're going to do another one, but it's almost as if, you know, the number of heads on the shark is starting to shadow Sharknado, and it is the same company too, so it is the Asylum. So but she was hysterical laughing, and she finally understands why I watch these movies. But tonight's movie was a little bit different than the rest of them. Most of the movies, they go for that secretive kind of, you know, kill going on, and I had a couple of problems with the movie. Like, nobody realized that there was a problem. Like, people were missing for a long time. Like, they didn't even mention the yoga instructor. Now, when the yoga instructor got eaten, it seemed like a couple of those people made it out of the water. Wouldn't they say, hey, the yoga instructor's dead? Like, you know.
And also, it was not intended, I guess, to be a TV movie, as it were, because the editing was so awful when it came to it. I mean, the worst case was right there near the end where Zane has just turned into the zombie shark guy, and he's attacking and he's attacking and he's getting ready to attack again. He's like, oh, let's go to commercial. There was no lead up or no stop. We're gonna, I'm gonna attack the camera, and no, it wasn't. It was like, I'm gonna ready to attack, and then it just went to commercial. I was like, okay.
Yeah, and that, I mean, it happens in almost every movie, because it seems like the last couple of movies they've been going like the first 20 minutes commercial free, and then they put the, they get you hooked, and sometimes there just isn't a good place to put a break, or you'll see like they do a fade to black, come into the next scene, and go halfway through, and cut to a commercial. But I don't know if the movie producers and the people who make the movie actually have so much of a say in that as to where, SyFy says, okay, we're going to chop it right there. We're going to stop it right there. But hey, I did not mention this on Twitter, but no choppers were hurt in the filming of this movie. So that's two movies that we haven't seen a chopper go down in a row. But yeah, I mean, Zane and Eden, annoying.
To get back to one of the things you said earlier, the 8 o'clock start, I know it might be good for you. It's not good for me right now because of my younger kids. 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock is kitty bedtime, so we're giving them baths and getting them ready for bed, reading them stories, stuff like that. So 9 o'clock to 11 works better for Dawn and I, because then we're both down here, we'll be able to both watch it. But Dawn, bless her heart, because I've been doing these after shows, she's been handling the kids stuff for the days I've been doing. This is the third one, and then she comes down at like 9 o'clock and helps out and does some tweeting on that. But it would always be kind of nice to have her on all the time also. So it happens. I'm not a big fan of it, but I think Sharknado started last year. I think Sharknado last year was at 8 o'clock also, if I recall.
Yep.
So I guess it's the newest thing to do. I mean, I understand. I mean, what they're doing, they had to do that one show yesterday, right? The blood ride, or whatever the hell that show about cars that run on blood is.
Blood Drive, or whatever it is.
Yeah. So they had to do that one at 10 o'clock. So it makes sense that they want to add. Well, that's the only time I've seen them want to add a show after. They've been showing other movies, shark movies, after the other ones. And of course, Tuesday and Friday they're off because Tuesday is Face Off and Friday is their SyFy block. So,
Which I am not a fan of, by the way. I mean, I watched the first 3 or 4 episodes and not a fan of the format that they're using this season, so I stopped watching it. And there's a lot of daylight scenes in this movie. So Planet of the Sharks is on.
Yeah, your favorite, your absolute favorite. Yeah. I truly think Saturdays is a sequel. Empire of the Sharks, I think, is going to be like the sequel to it. It sounds like it anyway.
And so that if that's true, this is also an asylum flick, isn't it? So that would give them 4 movies, because Sharknado is asylum.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this is an asylum movie also.
I just remember how much you detested it last year.
The accents, and it was just, it's Waterworld light, So, yeah. So, along with the 8 o'clock start, the reason I like it is because, hey, I can watch it from 8 to 10, and it's weird because there's some networks that are on that, 9 to 11 Eastern time type thing, and like Lifetime is on the 8 to 10 thing, and I know it hits our friends in the Central Time Zone pretty hard because it's a 7 o'clock start for them. And the thing is, I mean, literally it's tight for me now because we just got finished cleaning up from dinner. When I sat down, I watched the last 30 seconds of
Atomic Sharks,
and this thing started. So And the same thing happened with trailer park sharks and Mississippi River sharks. Um, I'm kind of glad I'm not going to miss a movie tomorrow because there's no movie. And I'm probably going to have to DVR the next two. Well, Sharknado, definitely. And then I may get an opportunity because, with technology, you can watch stuff from your DVR when you're not home. you know, I don't know if I will. I might.
I know. I'm probably not going to watch Saturdays only because that's the day before we're leaving, like at the butt crack of dawn on Sunday. Oh God, the butt crack of the morning.
Wait, hold on. Let's think about that.
No, we're not going to think about that. We're going to move on right now.
Butt crack. So is that? Did you pass the dingleberries, or is that outside where you're kind of looking at the dingleberries and you're seeing the balloon knot in the middle?
Sure, whatever, Tony. That's great. Anyway, we'll be leaving at like 5:30, so we'll be getting stuff packed and prepped and stuff like that. So probably not gonna watch Saturdays. And then Dawn claims that we're definitely gonna watch Sunday Sharknado, but I've driven all the way down to the beach and then get in the house and I don't know if I'm actually get a chance to watch it. So I might just DVR that and just say heck with it.
So after watching all of these shark movies, I would have a hard time going into the water. I am just saying, because
that's fake. All fake. I know this is fake. Granted, there is a great white shark down a little bit further down by Hatteras where all those blackouts are taking place. So not my concern now.
It's pretty funny though, because in all of these movies, well, except for Trailer Park Shark and maybe a little bit with Mississippi River Shark, but for a lot of these movies, they're in crystal clear, perfect water until the shark comes. Then it's murky as hell. There was a couple of scenes in this movie where you're looking down into the water and you're seeing somebody go by in like a canoe or something, and you could see down. They're doing their little snorkeling, and you could see down to their feet, and then all of a sudden, the shark comes by, and you can't see crap. Yeah, it's not being able to see my feet is the problem.
Understandable. I just like the waves. But we do have a pool, so I don't spend that much time in the ocean, and then we'll go to the pool and hang out in the pool. There's no pool sharks yet, but maybe next year.
There you go. That's the next movie, Pool Sharks.
Pool Sharks.
There was a movie where there was a shark in the pool, and I think one of the guys, I don't want to say he was a drug dealer, but he was like kind of like a gang member. Oh no, it wasn't a shark, it was a gator. It was a gator that was in his pool. And he decided he was going to take a dip, and he got eaten. That was one of the first sci-fi movies I've ever watched. And it's funny because it was about 7 or 8 years ago. We were down in Florida, and it was me, my brother-in-law, and my oldest daughter. We stayed back at that hotel, and everybody went down to downtown Disney. So, and it happened to be like a Saturday night. I think it was the first night we got there. We're flicking through the channels, and it was SyFy. And people were out on a river in a boat, and the one kid was swimming, and the one kid didn't want to go in the water because he didn't know how to swim. And so the father proceeded to throw his kid into the water where the shark was swimming around or whatever. And the kid one kid gets attacked, and the father is about to jump in, but he didn't drop his beer. Like, he jumped into the water, like he jumped in with his beer in his hand, and from then we were hooked. But getting back to toxic sharks, I did not know that arsenic could turn you into a zombie.
I didn't either. I thought it would just kill you.
That's what I thought. Yeah. I mean, I know it doesn't take much to actually kill you. Like, if you have a little arsenic over a certain amount of time, it'll kill you. But I did not know it made your eyes red. And I did not know magnets can cause an EMP.
Wasn't there something about magnets in one of the other movies?
I'm trying to think, but I know just having a magnet cannot cause an EMP. I mean,
exactly. I know, and that was, I guess, what they were trying to do for a unique version of the shark film. Because let's face it, as Kelly and I talked about at the kickoff show, they're starting to come out, run out of ideas. I mean, there's not really that many more ideas, I guess, that I can think of off the top of my head that they can use.
Well, okay, so let's brainstorm this mother effer. Okay, so you've already come up with one. Pool sharks.
Now I know they did make one which I've never seen before, and that was kind of one of the running jokes that Kelly and I did about the snow sharks, where snow is mostly water, so they'd be able to survive in the snow. So there was that one. I don't think they did that one.
They did Arctic sharks, and that was actually on. I actually caught part of it. I think it was.
It was last year, yeah, because it premiered last year because I did Dylan Noah my review of that on that one. So
and so, but they did show, and I'm pretty sure it was Monday. It was before. It may have been before Five-Headed Shark Attack, but I definitely did catch a piece of that. So let's see. We've gone to the trailer park. It's kind of hard to and this is why Griff First is a genius, because he does all his filming down in Louisiana. So Trailer Park Sharks, Arachnoquake, a lot of his. So we've been to the Bayou. We've had Bayou Sharks.
Puerto Rico seems to be the big hot spot this year. There's been 2 movies that take place in Puerto Rico. This one and Five-Headed Shark Attack.
I'm wondering if there isn't some kind of tax incentive down there for filmers to go down there. It's kind of like Roger Corman. He films all his movies down in Mexico because he loves Mexico. So he gets to take a vacation for 2 or 3 weeks every year by going down to Mexico and filming a movie. Piranaconda, he got himself out to Hawaii. But I'm wondering if there wasn't some kind of tax incentive. But where have we not gone? I'd like to see some sharks in the Thames. Okay. So that could be an idea, because the Brits deserve some sharks too. I don't think we should send sharks to Paris or anywhere near France or the Seine. Insane sharks. There you go. But instead of Sane, it's the way you spell the river Seine. So insane sharks. I think that one could be a winner.
That could work.
Maybe they have one of those.
Have they done nuclear sharks? I guess atomic shark is similar to that.
Shark would be. So we should write these things down just in case, because then this is date and time stamped. We will write these down. So just in case somebody comes out with something similar to this, then we'll be able to say,
we thought it first.
That was our idea, So insane sharks, you have pool sharks. Let's see. So we've hit Europe in 2 spots. Never been done before, except maybe in Sharknado 5 because it's global swarming. But so we've hit England and we've hit France. Where is the most unlikely place to find a shark?
Outback sharks. The outback in Australia. Somehow, like the sand sharks, somehow they're able to survive in sand now.
Okay. Well, that's been done with Coronemic. Yeah. That's a funny movie.
That is a good one. That's a funny
movie. Outback sharks. I think I could get behind that one. Yeah. So that brings us to Australia. Okay, so where in Africa can we go?
Congo sharks. I mean, jungle sharks. I don't think they've ever done like a jungle shark one before.
Jungle shark. Rainforest sharks. Okay. Okay, so we got to hit South America too then.
Yeah. I mean, with that, you could do the Amazon shark, where he's going down the Amazon River, sort of similar to the Mississippi River one, I guess. Even though it's similar, but I mean, you get him hit all the main, or Rio, they have their carnival shark or something like that, where in the middle of carnival, sharks are attacking people off the coast of Rio.
So I've got a good premise for a movie. We can get a Japanese shark. And like something could happen to it off of that Fukushima reactor in that area that causes the shark to mutate in some way, and start attacking, you know, Tokyo. I don't know if it would go in there like Godzilla, but you know.
Well, they did mention Sharkzilla in Sharknado 5, so I don't know what that's going to be about. Sharkzilla. Sharkzilla.
So okay, so we could get to Tokyo.
Not that easy now, is it? See?
It's not. I mean, but I mean, hey, I really do like pool sharks.
Yeah.
You know,
insane. I like that. I like the insane one. That's a good one.
Well, they also didn't we have like sharks in like a water park type situation already?
Have we? That would be cool. Water slide sharks.
No, but there was one where it was kind of like they were doing like a festival that was right on the water. Remember, the sheriff came by. I think it was Ving Rhames. I can't remember the movie, but Ving Rhames was in a boat telling everybody to get out of the water. Like it was a spring break situation. But I seem to remember there was a movie, and I think it was like filmed in Romania where it was in like a water park. Okay. Like I seem to remember someone coming down a slide and the shark being there and like the person going right into the shark's mouth, which was pretty funny. Okay. And
sewer sharks? Have they done sewer sharks?
Imagine that. You're sitting down on the toilet bowl and having a shark come up and bite your ass. Butt crack of the morning. The shark just comes up. Moon sharks or space sharks or
yeah, space sharks.
Well, if we could do outback sharks and then Antarctic sharks. They've done Arctic sharks.
Yeah, and so now you have like penguins instead of, you know, polar bears. You have penguins now instead of polar bears.
Yeah, I think I can get behind that. Yeah, so I mean, so with this movie anyway, I think there could have been a less fighting between the guy and the girl because that kind of added nothing to the movie.
And plus, it was so stupid having them always, and it was cliche. That's why I texted "God damn it" a couple times. Like, okay, first thing, oh, they're at the same resort. Ah, oh, God, okay, wonderful. And then when they got chosen for that exercise thing where they were partners, I was like, with it when they were picking their colored stones, I was like, come on, you know exactly what's gonna happen. I was like, no, come on, don't just. Oh, dang it. But yeah, you're right. It was grating and then stupid. And then we knew at the end they were going to get back together. Except she's like, we'll take it slow this time, please.
Okay. So we're looking for locations and ideas for shark movies, and Myrna suggested coffee sharks. So how does that fit into the geographical theme that we're talking about?
Colombia, where they make coffee. They can be coffee fields near water, and they just happen to maybe dump their bad coffee into the river, and it causes a highly caffeinated shark or something to attack people.
Why don't we just have crackhead sharks then? Because I mean, why stop at the coffee? Why don't we just go right for the cocaine?
That'd be sweet.
You know? Crackhead sharks. Okay, see, now that makes more sense than coffee sharks. It's like, what happens? You go into Starbucks and you get attacked by a shark? That would suck.
How about a little?
Because I don't go to Starbucks.
The Jets for sharks, like in a West Side Story. The shark versus the gang sharks.
Gang sharks, right?
What's that? It's a gang of sharks, and they're attacking people. What's going to stop them? How about the Jets? Airplane.
Yeah, and then you see Joe Namath. Joe Namath coming around.
And Sanchez does the butt fumble and drops the bomb on him or something like that.
Tim Tebow.
Oh, gee.
Mark Sanchez. Yeah. Boomer Esiason.
There you go. Yeah, get all these get all these quarterbacks to come.
All the old quarterbacks. Kenny O'Brien. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. But real quick.
I'm not a Jeff fan. I'm not a Jeff fan at all.
Let me just ask you real quick. I mean, I know we touched on it briefly. What was your thought on the shifting of the gears to more of a zombie style movie? What was your? I mean, I know it's called Toxic Shark, and we already did Zombie Shark, but you know, what did you think about that? Do you think it was like do you think it was something that they wanted to throw in and make it different than other shark movies, or?
I think somebody was just doing a little bit of some herbal essence or some. It seemed the consensus on Twitter was that the plot seemed to be meandering, and I think I would have said, "Hey, if you're going to start with a premise of a toxic shark, then do what actors do with their roles. Most of them will tell you they give their character a backstory so they know who they are. So when you're talking about the whole premise of a movie, when it comes to something like Toxic Sharks, how did the shark get toxic? And they kind of glazed over that a little bit, but they didn't explain it. Like, and you know, I don't, not that I really care, but just because arsenic is bad for people, it may or may not be bad for sharks. And how did this shark develop this blowhole on the top of his head that gives him the ability to just spew out green goo? Don't know, but there was a lot of stuff going on with the shark. However, I will tell you my thoughts on this, because one of the things that you can say about any shark movie is you have to try and get the characters into a position where they're in the water. Now, I will tell you, as far as I'm concerned, there's a shark attack within 25 miles from where I am. I'm not even taking a bath. I'll take a shower. Okay, stay out of the water. Now, in yesterday's movie, Trailer Park Sharks, what they did was they created a situation where there was a flood. So you couldn't stay out of the water because the water was coming looking for you. Now, the other device that movie makers use when you have a shark film is you either put people in a position where they have no choice, which is what happened yesterday, and or you have a situation where the shark is attacking and most of the people in that world do not know the shark attacks are taking place until about maybe halfway through the movie. And then the only people that go near the water are the people who think they need to kill the shark. I think in the situation with this movie, they decided halfway through, well, we need to increase the death toll somehow. So they brought a danger onto the land too. But again, I mean, it was a little bit convoluted when it came to that. I mean, I was laughing at the movie, but if you were going to sit down and be a serious movie critic, I would have to say, yeah, they couldn't make up their mind where they were going with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think another thing I would have liked to explore is why, you know, and it always seemed like the shark was more interested in eating the zombified people than the regular people. Whenever there was regular people and zombie people, he'd go after the zombie people. Is it because they were easier or what? See, that would be something that would be an interesting take on how that happened. And same thing, follow about how the shark came the way it is, how we got the little spout thing, you know, stuff like that. I mean, even with Mississippi River sharks, they do a quick throwaway line saying only bull sharks can survive in fresh water. So these are obviously bull sharks that, you know, are coming up the Mississippi and they're being hunted, and that's why they got scared up there. So there's your premise. That's why the sharks are in the Mississippi River. And that makes sense. And they didn't have to spend a lot of time on it. They set the pace. They said, yes, we know most sharks can only survive in salt water, but guess what? Bull sharks can survive in brackish or clear water. And then, you know, why they get pushed up? Because they were being farmed. Yeah.
Well, I think all sharks can survive for a short time in fresh water. But bull sharks are known to swim a lot farther up and spend more time in fresh water and tolerate it a lot better. Because there have been cases where tigers have gone a little bit further upriver than they are normally seen. But bull sharks are the ones, like you said, that more typically will get further upstream and be seen in places where you don't see any other sharks. However, having said that, you know, getting back to this movie, you know, there's, and I'm not an expert on shark behavior, but there was about at least 20 people that ran into that water, 20 zombie people. Okay. And the shark was swallowing people whole, you know. That shark was a pretty decent size, but it wasn't that big. And as far as I know, a shark will eat until it can't eat no more, and then it will stop eating, and then it will eat again when it can. This shark took out about 20 or 30 people, you know, in one shot, and forget about the number of people that it ate partially before and after that. I mean, it's just Mississippi River sharks. There was more than one, you know, there was a whole bunch of them, you know, so that's another thing that you can do. You can have a whole bunch of sharks. And those sharks weren't that big either, you know. In yesterday's movie, it was up. They were calling it a great white that was swimming around, and you know, hey, that's fine.
It's trailer park sharks. Yeah, it's crib. Yeah, it's whatever. Absolutely.
Yeah, and when you see the trailer park, you're going to be like, those really trailers, or those more like RVs? You know, it was a good movie, you know, and like I said, unfortunately for some of us, I saw this movie after that. And okay, so we've got another one from Mr. John McGivna, Chernobyl sharks. You have your nuclear hook and your mutation hook, and it's Russia. See, now the only problem I would have with that is I think Chernobyl is like kind of landlocked. So, John, you're going to have to help us, and you know, and that's why the Fukushima thing works maybe a little bit better. Only because it's right on the coast. But then again, you know, the Japanese, they're a little bit sensitive. They may be like, oh, how can you do this? You know, because it would have to be a funny movie, you know. Isn't there a vacuum called a shark?
Yeah.
Vacuum sharks.
There you go.
Suck everything in.
They're
like Hoovers.
They don't bite, they suck.
These sharks really suck.
There's your hook right there.
Yeah, and then they just go around and they just take people's heads off. So think of all of the head jokes we could do.
Oh, mercy.
Fukushima, Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island sharks, you know, we could do that because it's been long enough. Okay. So anything that Myrna says is a lie. Everybody knows this. Because now she's accusing me of pulling her hair. Okay.
What? She's not even copying me on it, so I don't even know what the hell she's talking about.
She's talking to Scott Schott, and she's Scott Troutman, and she's talking to me. So anyway, you kind of knew what was going to happen at the end of the movie when Erin and everybody missed my last tweet. Nobody saw it. And I was especially proud of that one. I got to see if it was even posted, if it even made it in there.
Yeah, because I was still kind of, what the hell? Where did they end up? I mean, didn't everybody?
I think they made it to the mainland because I was like, wait, hold on, are they dreaming? Because it seems like everybody's having fun and frolic on the beach. And to tell you the truth, I think it was the same beach they were on before, except it was just they changed an angle a little bit. But I was like, okay, they made it onto the mainland. So all three of them paddled in together, and then all of a sudden, Aaron is a zombie. So
the last one I see of yours is Aaron, take off your top so I can tweet out Aaron go braless.
Oh yes, you see, I was very proud of that one, but nobody noticed that tweet.
I just retweet it for you, bud. There you go.
Okay, so feel free to boo it too if you want. You know, like I'm asking for boos now.
Sure, why not? Let me see if I can find it. There we go.
But yeah, I mean, I had a couple of tweets that I would do. I mean, I came up with, again, toxic shark syndrome. I'm sorry, because it sounds like I was very proud of that. And Helena booed me. And you know, like, and sometimes you're looking for a boo, like yeah, this is gonna be a boo.
Yeah.
And then there's one or two that you're like, yeah, I think people are gonna think that that's generally funny. It's not punny, and I got nailed with it. So, scale of 1 to 10.
3, very low 3. What about you?
I hate to give movies low scores only because there's you know there's some redeeming qualities to the movie. Reese, the character, was a dick. His death was quite unfulfilling. I'll give it a 4.5. Okay. And I'm gonna say I'm being a little bit generous with that, but if they were gonna go full zombie, then they should have gone a little bit more with the Audra slant on it, like, and so now if you're watching closely, it seemed like when Audra came out of the room and she said she was going to go after those bitches, it seemed like she had something in her hand, like scissors or something, but you know, she was concealing it behind her arm. And they, you know, they kind of, you know, focused on her arm for a second. So again, there was a lot of things that happened in this movie that didn't seem to kind of materialize. We all knew that what was going to happen. And first of all, why would you even think, after seeing what happened with your other friend, Gabriella, why would you even think about leaving her alone? And not only does she go out and take a test of the water, like you think, oh yeah, she's going to test the water and come right back. No, she went all around the island and went to like 5 or 6 different spots and started making tests. What did she think was going to happen? You know, Jesse wakes up from being knocked out, and he goes and kills Hayden, the girl on the cot. Not that it really made any difference to the story, but we didn't even have to see that. We could have, you know, if they never showed that again, we would have just assumed that that's what happened, you know. And if that would have been me in that bed, I would have been like, oh, no, you're not leaving me in this room with this guy.
Yeah, I don't care if I got a hole in my leg. I'm gonna get the fuck out of
there. Which brings me to, I'm going to tell you one of my favorite tweets of the night had to be from Kelly when he said, do you know where Hayden, did you see this one where Hayden got her outfit? Target. And
yes.
Right after, I thought that was quite clever. There was a couple of good ones. You had a couple of good ones, but yeah, I mean, did you happen to catch that arm hiding thing?
No, I didn't actually. I guess I was focused on other stuff, but no, I missed that one. No.
Well, yeah, it may have been easy to miss because at that point where she says, "I'm going to go get you bitches," that's where they cut it to go to a commercial, and that seemed like a good spot to go because then when it came back, they were back with Eden, and she was doing her testing. So, yeah, but I mean, if they were going to go that zombie route, and they could have gone that zombie route, like they could have just killed off the shark and then had like this infected zombie thing going on. That probably could have been better, but they, you know, it's like bath salts, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Thank you for the boo, Dylan. I see your boo. Boos are appreciated.
That was the second one. I gave you the one for your Britney Spears one also.
Yeah. And then someone else had a Britney Spears tweet after that. I was like, I mean, yeah, look, I did that one already. I did a Reese's Pieces, Kelly, at the beginning of the movie when Reese was talking to, saying you and you and you. And I was like, which one of these is going to be Reese's Pieces? So I did a Reese's Pieces tweet. I'm just too tired to worry about,
Yeah. There's some ones I like that didn't get any attention. So I understand it's kind of hard when you're doing the live tweeting. You're either not on TweetDeck or on the Snark Alex page or whatever. It's just kind of hard to follow up with everything and all the ones that were coming in.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of new people, but it seemed like again there was a hell of a lot more people last night. And I think maybe because some of the actors and actresses and even Griff First have a larger following than maybe some of these other production companies. And, Griff First, again, was out there. Every time he's got a movie that's premiering on SyFy, he's always live tweeting. He'll always retweet something from just about everybody in the whatchamacallit and or make a comment. And usually for about the first hour, like you'll see him really active and then you'll see him lay off a little bit. But they're usually very good about jumping in and getting involved. I mean, I didn't see, I was looking, I saw that someone showed that it was trending, but I could see Trailer Park Sharks was trending. I could not see that this was trending, but yeah. I did see a tweet where someone showed that it was actually trending. So, hey,
I think it was Scotty who did it maybe yesterday. It was like, hey, remember SyFy when we used to trend movies every Saturday for you? Yeah. Like, why don't you get back to that or something like that? Yeah. So.
There was a couple of people I think even Heather tweeted something along those lines also, where, hey, yeah, but I saw that tweet too. Remember we used to do this? Actually, was it MJ Khan?
It might have been MJ, because Heather, I don't think that had ever really done, because the way she was talking, she was like, she'd never really done one of these types of things with us before. And I don't remember really seeing her previous to around this time doing these types of movies. We always had the same specific people doing it, but I think this is maybe her first time, and she did a pretty good job. I liked a lot of the ones she said. So,
okay. Well, yesterday, MJ had one of the top tweets where it was like, "Hey, SyFy, who's responsible for this movie? Because you need to sign them up for life." And I responded, and I was like, "Yeah, this is GE first." But let's see, maybe it was Mississippi Sharks. Because whatever tweet it was also got a lot of likes and retweets. So let's see. Shark of the Covenant. Tonight's the night. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Don't you mean Mrs. Chap? Choo-choo-choo. Yeah, no, it wasn't Mississippi River Sharks. Then maybe it was Five-Headed Shark Attack.
Could be.
Well, we'll try that one too. I mean, hey, excuse me while I check my phone, and you can see the back of my phone.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Right.
Doing my show.
Let's see. Top. Yep. I remember this tweet from Kelly. Official SyFy release. We decided not to CGI on a fifth head because that would look fake. Five-headed shark attack, and it was because everybody was like, okay, where? Yes, it was Scott McDonald.
Yeah.
How SyFy is trending. Do you remember when you used to trend every Saturday night? Why do you think that is? Yeah, because there was a lot of people tweeting that you don't normally see or haven't seen tweet. But so one of the other things that kind of brought this movie down was the lack of diversity in the way people died.
Right.
And you know, hey, people were just flopping around. The water shark came and ate them, you know. So that probably led to some of the monotonous moments, you know. And one of your tweets at the beginning of the night was a top tweet, and it'll probably be a top tweet tomorrow, where it's like less talky, more killy, you know. I saw that and I was like, yeah, I had a favorite, retweet that sucker, because I mean the two guys died at the beginning of the movie, and then, you know, it seemed like we went a half hour or so, and I said, you know, what's going to happen is it's like they're going to have this slow burn, and then all of a sudden hell's going to break loose, and it kind of did, but you know, it was just
spread it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Spread it out a little bit. Well, I guess if it's done properly, I suppose, sort of similar to like, because even Jaws somewhat had the one shock killing at the beginning, and then it sort of did a little bit, but then it was the Kintner boy, and then it just sort of, he was in and out, so that's how you build suspense, is that way.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, and one of the things that they figured out early on in horror type movies, where there is some sort of a monster, everybody knew it was a shark. So how could you get away with it? It wasn't really a monster, but basically they don't show you the shark until you get about halfway through the movie. You know, like maybe you see a film, maybe you see a shadow going through the water, but they don't actually show you the shark, and that builds up suspense. And when the Kintner boy got killed, all you saw was the blood in the water.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, you didn't actually see the shark, and you don't see the shark until you're about halfway through. You know, the two guys that are out on the dock with the guy's holiday roast, you don't see the shark. You know, I think they show a fin, and just a little bit of it. You know, they don't show you the whole thing. And then when you get to the end of the movie, where what they actually do is they have that shark swing by the boat, and then you could see the shark with the boat in the foreground to give you some kind of size perspective, you know, how big that shark really is. That shark was about the size of that boat, you know, from the tip of his snout to the tip of his tail.
Right.
You know, that was a massive shark. It was a big shark. They didn't give us any of that. I mean, except for at the end where they had the shark up out of the water on the boat, and it wasn't that impressive, you know. But there was so many doors that they opened, that they left open, that they, you know, I think they had too many doors open.
Yeah, they went a little bit too far. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I remember in Sharks Weeks past, not all of them are going to be awesome. You know, not all of them are going to be awesome. you know, when you have five-headed shark attack, and that movie was good, but I mean, right now, I'm gonna say Trailer Park Sharks, probably the best movie of the week so far, followed closely by Mississippi River Sharks, because that movie had the perfect, I guess, mix of not taking itself seriously. The Jason London, Jeremy London character, because if you go on IMDb, they're both credited with being in the movie. And you know, the characters weren't bad, the acting wasn't horrible,
Atrocious.
you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't, you know, a couple of cliched characters. Everybody hated Wyatt, but he turned out to be cool at the end of the movie, you know. Trailer Park Sharks, I think it beats that a little bit, but both of those movies had me really like laughing out loud, seriously. And it just kind of sucks when, you know, when the bar is set that high. And
they dropped this one in your lap.
Yeah. Yeah, if this one would have been a little bit earlier in the week, it would have been better. And I am telling you, I think you're gonna love Trailer Park Sharks, especially, you know, everybody knows it's no secret you're gonna see Tara Reid in it, you know, and her shtick is pretty good. Like, it's pretty good. So, and what's Saturday now?
Is Empire of the Sharks, which I think is the sequel to Planet of the Sharks, I think, because it had a similar premise. The Earth was overtaken by water, and the sharks have taken control or something like that. So I think it's going to be similar to Planet of the Sharks, if not the same movie, a sequel possibly to it. So that's what it sounds like to me.
Well, it looks like a sequel, because it looks like, what's her name is in it? John Savage, Jack Arm, Ashley DeLange. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Somewhere in here it should say this was filmed in South Africa.
Diamond Sharks. Diamond Sharks. There you go.
Okay.
Sharks made of diamond. And they've done lava sharks, right? Yeah, they're volcano sharks. They did that before, yeah. Right? Haven't they?
Wow. Okay, so let's see. Hold on. 5 of 6 movies? Well, same Planet of the Sharks, but yeah, it's definitely an Asylum production, so I am guessing, and it looks like the girl who plays the Empress. So let's see. Let's go back. Diamond Sharks.
And then like volcano sharks or lava sharks.
Well,
because I thought I read a actual real thing that there are some sharks that are living in lava that can survive it, and it's a new thing.
In lava?
Yeah, I literally, I think I tweeted out. It was an actual story. I'll have to look that up a little bit more, but it was sharks living in lava, but like a volcanic area in the volcano itself, not just in the water surrounding it. Volcano, but
let's see. Diamond Sharks.
There you go.
And then, well, if you go Diamond Sharks, then you could actually do Titanium Sharks too.
Yeah. Here you go. Sharks discovered inside underwater volcano.
That's real?
Yeah. Scientists baffled to find sharks living inside an active volcanoes, from IFL Science. Daily Express picked it up. This is April 20th, 2017. The Dodo. Mysterious sharks living inside one of the most active underwater volcanoes on Earth. My phone's really slow because I'm at like 50%.
Well, I'm looking at it on online, and yeah, this is a National Geographic thing, but it says they're in a crater. It doesn't say it's actually an active volcano. So, but they are living now. When a volcano is very active, that means it could erupt every 150 years or so, or every 200 years. So if it erupted a couple of hundred years ago, you know, the way the ecosystem under the ocean works, it's like stuff will move into that niche, because there are, and you've probably heard about this. Have you heard about the bacteria that they found that are carbon based? They actually may be silicon based, because they live off of the toxic chemicals that come out of these small underwater volcanoes that they call black smokers.
Yeah, they say that they might be the ones that also could be living like on Europa and other
stuff like that. But it just shows you that like these bacteria are living around in an area that could be toxic to all other life except to them, and they can only live within a certain area around. Like as soon as they start to move away where they're not getting their toxicity, they don't. Is that me or you?
It's Myrna. And Myrna, it's an idea. It's one of those ideas we just keep throwing back and forth. It's not a real movie yet.
No. It was because I had opened up the National Geographic page and I was hearing music in my ears, and I was like, "Is that me or you?"
No, it's not me now.
Yeah, there are living things in very hostile environments. I'm guessing that volcanic crater may not be as toxic or uninhabitable,
right?
As the statement seems to suggest. Yeah, there's sharks living in a volcano. Yeah, there may not be lava in there, and it may be kind of active. So maybe it's a little bit warm, but we'll see. But so I think we've covered the movie back and forth, left and right. We've been all over the place with it.
Yeah. And we killed an hour, so that's good.
Yes, we did. And yeah, exactly an hour. I don't know if we're going to do a snooze in September at the beginning of the month, but probably when we get back from vacation, we could start sending emails about maybe getting together sometime in Philly, late September, October, see if we can work something out. We'll get Nicole and Mike involved, and we'll see what we can work out as far as schedules go. You know, if we have to go into like the beginning of October, we can, which is, hey, it's still nice weather, but we have to figure out what we're going to do. Just a quick meetup, have a nice dinner, and, you know.
Yep.
But having said that, maybe when do your kids go back to school, Dill?
Day after Labor Day, so September. Geez, let me look at that. It'll be 7th, I guess. Let me hold on. No, it'll be. Let me see. My stepbrother gets married on the 2nd, which is Saturday. The 5th. The 5th of September as they go back to school.
Yeah. So after we get back, this is when things start to get a little crazy. Vicky has to start going to cheerleader practice because they start middle of August, get them ready for the upcoming season. And then I think the following week, I don't know if it's the following week or the week after that, the week of the 28th, when we got to move Bree back into school. So I don't know. See, the way my life works is it's 2 weeks down the road. I don't want to know about it. Let's figure out what we're doing tomorrow. You know,
right.
We have the groundwork laid for what's happening in 2 weeks, but I don't know the specifics. So, Maybe we'll start emailing on the 14th. We'll figure out a date for the next Snews.
Yeah.
Thinking it might have to be in, because by then maybe we can get some email going and we'll have something to talk about as far as mini snack stock, we can call it, instead of snark stock. We can call it snack stock.
Yep, that'll work.
Because it's not a snark stock.
Nope.
So having said that, I'm gonna say goodnight, peoples. I'm gonna say goodnight, Dylan. It's been great.
Yeah, it's been great, been fun, and I'll see you again, sir.
Yes, we will talk soon. So good night, everyone, and we'll see you next time.